Shalom Uvracha. The Ramban explains that the voice of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem's voice that projected to us from Har Sinai, is not a one-time event. It's a voice that continues to speak to us. And where do we hear it? We hear it in the Mishkan. We hear it in the Mikdash. It carries on talking to us throughout history. However, there's a wonderful description at the end of Parashat Naso that tells us exactly where, physically, did this voice emanate from. And the pasuk says, Uvavoy Moshe, the last pasuk in Naso, Uvavoy Moshe, when Moshe Rabbeinu came, Ledaberi Itoi, to speak to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in the Mishkan, the tabernacle. Vayishma et HaKol, Moshe Rabbeinu heard the voice that spoke to him from, the pasuk says, from above the Aron Ha'edus, the Kapores, the cover of the Holy Ark, the Aron Ha'edus, Mi bein Shenei HaKruvim, from between the two Keruvim, Vayedaber Elov. Meaning, we have these two cherubs, these two Keruvim. They represent the connection between Hashem on the one hand and the Jewish people on the other. The Gemara in Maseches Sukkah tells us that these Keruvim took the form of children. According to many Mefarshim, one was a male, one was a female. And they represented, like the Gemara says in Baba Basra and in Yoma, they represented the relationship between Hashem and the Jewish people. Why children? Because they represent the innocence, the pureness of a relationship between children. That special innocence that was lost after the sin of Adam Harishon, and yet returns through the Jewish people and their connection to Hashem. And the voice, Hashem's voice, doesn't emanate from one of the Kruvim, but rather from between the two. There's a covenant which is created by two sides. Each side comes to create something shared, something that happens between the two sides, in the covenant, in the bris between Hashem and the Jewish people. And the voice of Hashem emanates from that place in between. It's not from one side, it's not from the other. It's from the space in between them. And that's a remarkable and an amazing description. It comes from between us. That's true, of course, for Torah. Hashem gives us His Torah, but it's up to us to interpret it, to understand it. And the voice of Hashem comes from that combination, Hashem's Torah and our understanding. But it's true also for the history of the Jewish people, for our changing condition throughout the course of these generations that come and go of the Jewish people. And we hear Hashem's voice dependent on our condition, on where our generation is, our situation, our circumstances. The voice is spoken to us from within those circumstances, and it's not the same. It changes based on our condition. That's a part of our understanding. And this amazing description of where the voice of Hashem that continues on from our Sinai, carries on speaking to us, is so relevant for today, because there are tremendous issues that today face the Jewish people here in Israel, in Eretz Israel. Some of those issues relate to how we vanquish, defeat our enemies from without. Some of them relate to internal issues of how we run the country, the balance of powers between the different branches, and so on and so forth. And perhaps the issue that today has come to the fore is the issue of the Haredi enlistment, the participation of Haredim in the Israeli army, which is the spearhead of a general issue of Haredi participation, responsibility for Israel. And there's a tremendous commotion going on surrounding these issues. There's tremendous noise, which makes it hard sometimes to hear the koil, to hear the clarity of vision, the clarity of the voice that Hashem speaks to us. But if I may suggest, there is a voice that's telling us something clear. It's telling us that we, in the Haredi space, that has been in a kind of withdrawal from the rest of Israel for the last 8 decades, that it's time to step forwards. It's time to take responsibility for what's going on in Israel, that this great edifice of the study halls, the communities, the institutions, that all of them have been built up to a position of strength in order that we should be able to step up and take the responsibility that we are being called to. It seems that this is a voice that speaks from our circumstances, from our situation, that the Torah tells us that it's up to us to build, to be a part of this amazing process that's unfolding here in the Jewish state. And yes, there's a lot of background noise, and how it's going to happen, it's difficult to say. And days are ahead of us, these days, these weeks, these months, that will unravel this and unpack the situation, and time will tell. But there's something that pierces through this, a voice, a calling that pierces through and says, we have to stand up to the greatness of the hour. We have to take this responsibility in its fullness, in all of its gravity, in all of its weight, and to be able to bring to light the greatness that we have embedded within these communities, in all of the institutions, in all of the affairs, in the army, of course, but in other areas too. The hows of this are complex, and certainly not for this short Torah. But the what, the where's this going? What's the voice that we're hearing? What's the calling that we can hear? It's a calling to greatness. It's a calling to responsibility. Halevai, that we should be able to answer this calling from between the two Cheruvim, from this relationship between us and HaKadosh Baruch Hu that continues to guide us over time and to bring us, even in the absence of the Mikdash, it should be built bimheira ve'amenu. And we should see the direction, the supervision of Hashem upon us, and we should have a wonderful Shabbos.